Welcome, welcome. I'm going to do our opening prayer. I have missed you, but let's do our opening prayer. Oh, great spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, amen, namaste. Oh my God, I've missed you guys so much. I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to get on here as much as I would like. It has, not gonna lie, it's been a very hard beginning to the ending of last month and the beginning of this month. I had so much energy that I had to clear and so many conversations that I had to have to get my house in order. So I am really grateful to be back with you, and I'm so sorry that I had to turn in words. And I hope my lovely team took incredible care of you, because I know Hera and Lucy were on here loving you the way that I would. But it's good to be back. So let's start with our questions, and I'm ridiculously happy to see you all. Just so you know, I really, 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 really missed you. Okay. So Kira's saying hi, Mitch is saying hi, hello. Love Sunshine Sky, Love and Sunshine saying hope you had a lovely haul. We went to my first holiday in 4 years. We went to the Highlands. It was beautiful, but it was a mixed bag because I haven't rested in so long that yeah, so much stuff came up that had to be resolved, which is what happens, right? When you're putting off and putting off and putting off, and then suddenly it hits. But it was beautiful. It was some of the most beautiful energy as well. The west coast of Scotland has some incredible healing energy, so it really brought me back home. It really brought me back to my family, so it was super good. But it's yeah, it was a good holiday, but it made me really come back to my heart. Okay, I was told to fix it as I had connections to the pituitary gland not working properly. Any advice? So, whenever your pituitary gland is struggling to communicate with the rest of the endocrine system, you can use like hypnotic commands. So, like Marissa Peer would say, use, command, compel, and encode your pituitary gland to speak to your entire endocrine system with grace and ease. The metaphysical part of it is like, because the pituitary gland is like a master gland, so it's organization skills, keeping track of everything, and the beliefs that come up around it is I am not worthy of support, I'm not worthy of organization. So for many people like me, if you're neurodivergent, we're very good at the big vision, and I'm very good at loving others and nurturing others and leading, but the organization and the systems, I really had to lean very heavily on the team and on the people that I hired to help me create that, because organizations and how everything is going to fit together, I'm so visual and sensory, like I need to touch and see things in order to be able to feel where they are energetically. So I would literally print things out with my team, and I would stand on them in different months and figure out where they would fit. So it's about working through the support wound so that you're allowed to be supported in other areas, so that you can be in your, your zone of genius and in your feminine. So you're not so much in this organized structure, discipline mode, but still honoring that masculine part. So discipline should come from devotion, right? Devotion to your highest values and ultimately to God. So we become who we are because of the habits that we practice. If you want to be loving, you have to practice love. What does that mean? That means self-care, that means meditation, that means learning communication skills and leading skills, and um, a deep sense of self-inquiry and self awareness and self-knowledge. Love is practical. So that's the energy that you're healing when you're healing the pituitary gland, is shifting from this I have to do it all myself to how do I empower others to support and to lead in the areas where they are the strongest. And how do I allow people to really move into their power from a place of collaboration. And it is a big shift. It's a big shift to hiring your first assistant, to allowing yourself to get support at home, to allowing yourself to get multiple team members. And because the exchange shifts. So in the beginning, you're exchanging your time, and then you're actually paying people, right, for their services and valuing them financially. The energy is the same, but it's a different kind of contribution. So, can we just heal all the stuff from your pituitary gland, like the belief that it's too much responsibility, that it doesn't know how to communicate with multiple people or how to delegate to multiple people, how to allow that system, whether that system is a family, like multiple children and a partner, or whether that system is a company, or whether that system is a community? Can we just shift, change, evolve that so that we can allow our pituitary gland to do what it does? Ooh, there we go. Okay. Okay, Gabriella saying, can I please have a card about my health? Many thanks. Yes, of course you can, darling. I'm just, give me a second, I've got the cards back here. And it's interesting, right? Because the cards came with my Bible. So it looks like the Bible wants to be involved in our readings today. The Bible. My sky's very, very pink, creative coloring in Bible. And my angel cards, which were living on top of my Bible. So let's see what comes out for you. I've also got the romance deck today because I think the angels want to speak to some people about their romantic life and relationships. But let's see what comes out for you, Gabriella. Oh, okay. So the card that came for you, spiritual understanding. Archangel Raziel, I am bringing you Stoic information and symbols. I am helping you understand spiritual truths. So the message that I'm getting very strongly from Raziel for you is that you are really getting angry at yourself because you think understanding should be enough. It's like, I know this, so why isn't it working? And it's because it's not enough to know. Knowing is the first step, right? Knowing is the first step. So knowing that you have divine gifts is not the same as activating those divine gifts and using those divine gifts. Knowing you have a divine life purpose is not the same thing as living that divine life purpose. In shamanic culture, they say that the map is not the territory, right? The map of the rainforest is not the rainforest. The map of Mount Everest is not Mount Everest. Understanding what a healthy relationship looks like is not the same as being able to behave in a healthy way inside a relationship. The shift, right, from knowledge to embodiment happens during practice. So that's the missing piece that Archangel Raziel is bringing in. And you can see he's got the two, like the Star of David here, which is the two triangles, or the two pyramids, one facing downwards and one facing upwards. And the geometric healing that comes from that is the negative energies are grounded by the downward facing pyramid triangle, and the positive, the negative energies that are more like air or eros type energies, because negative energies, just like positive energies, can come in different elements like earth, air, fire, water. You can have a negative energy that's very dense and very heavy, and it's like earth. You can have a negative energy that's like water. You can have like grief, for example. People say they feel like they're drowning or they're overwhelmed, right? That's water energy that's negative. You can have a negative energy that's like air, and they used to be described as the miasmas, like a negative feeling in the room, or just the air feels funny in here. And people often say that's like, we need to clear the air, right? And you can have a negative energy that's like fire. So that's like anger and the conflicts and the psychic attack type stuff. So negative energies come as different elements. And these two inverted pyramids, let them, the one that faces up would sort out the fire type energies and the air type energies, and the pyramid facing downwards is the one that would clear the earth type energies and the water type energies that are bothering you. Positive energies also have earth, air, fire, water, but that's why this triangle is being used to clear those negative aspects. So Archangel Raziel is trying to pull you back into the balance between presence and the practice required to embody the knowledge that you are now holding and the truths that you are now looking to serve and to revere. Integrity, I was just literally working on the social media for this week, and integrity has a price. And the price is that you have to be willing to live by your values and not just profess them. And in a world where people are trying to get you to be who they want you to be, that can be really hard, especially if you're conditioned to be people pleasing, or if you're in your trauma response. And you really have to constantly ask yourself, is this what my higher self would do? Is this in alignment with my values? Or am I just people pleasing? Or am I just trying to get approval? Am I actually behaving in alignment because other people will perceive this as the right thing? Or am I doing what feels true to my heart and to me and to God in this moment? And that's a daily process of inquiry. And that's what I was saying, there's a certain deep level of inquiry, of personal inquiry, because the ego's tricky, right? So that's what is coming up. I'm going to bring in Archangel Raziel to do that clearing for you with his beautiful sacred geometric shapes, to help you shift from knowledge into practice and to maybe getting clarity. Clarity. What practices do you need to do or to incorporate into your life so that you can embody the incredible knowledge and divine gifts that you have? Okay. Balbir saying, hi, lovely. Hello. Mitch is saying, please, please, I need some guidance. Okay, Mitch. Okay, let's ask the angels. Let's see what comes up. Never ever used the Bible in angel reading before, but I'm so getting pushed to this. So you know something? Like I said, we're gonna go with the divine guidance here. Here we go. What's coming up? And my eyes are immediately going to. Okay, so the message that the Bible is giving you is that now this blessing which is in your hand, you have brought forth unto God. Let it be given unto all young men that follow God. So the message that you're getting is that the blessings that God has given you, like the divine gifts that God has given you, are supposed to be multiplied. So whatever you put in God's hands, God will multiply. Okay. And the blessings that you have in your heart are supposed to be given to all other spiritual men who have a genuine desire to connect with the Creator and their higher power. And there's a fear as I'm tuning into, because the moment I tune into, my solar plexus goes boom. So it's telling me that you are afraid that your own gifts aren't enough, and this is definitely an enoughness wound. It's like from a lot of childhood criticism they're showing me, and this fear of really stepping into your adulthood, really stepping into your leadership, really understanding that your voice is important, but it's coming through really, really strong that you're supposed to share this, and that God will multiply those gifts within you, and that those gifts are there for a reason. And it's interesting that the last reading was about practice and embodiment. If you guys wouldn't believe me, and it sounds like just a silly marketing sales thing, right? But when God gave me the guidance to move from Scotland to London, I had so much anxiety, both social and um, and personal, that I couldn't even get on the train to go to London by myself. I wouldn't have been able to order my own meal in a restaurant. The way that I got from that wounded inner girl part of me to this person who can speak in public and who can teach in public and who can do readings this way is through regular and consistent practice, right? It did not happen overnight. It came in waves. And that's how you do it when you're afraid of something. You break it down. When you're afraid of something, you break it down to smaller pieces, and then you practice those pieces. The world doesn't shrink for you. You have to increase your courage and your worthiness and your love for the world until it's bigger than your fear, right? And that only comes through practice. So that the gifts within you are supposed to be multiplied. Okay? The gifts within you are supposed to be multiplied. There's something coming up, because my eyes then went to a passage about forgiveness, and it says, forgive the people in your home, and God will make it like a strong house. That's literally what it's saying. So I landed somewhere in Samuel. In my Bible, it's page 365, Samuel 25:39. That's where I am at the moment, for those of you who are more into Bible stuff. But it's literally saying that, so what God is showing me is that because you were so angry at yourself for staying in what your ego is telling you is a toxic situation, that you stopped allowing even unconditional love to yourself. And God is, like, the angels and God are really showing me that it's time to start letting that unconditional love flow towards you again. It's time to forgive yourself for staying. And it's also time to trust. We get judged if we stay, and we get judged if we go. right? This idea that if you stay and the relationship is hard, you're weak and you're toxic and you don't have the courage to leave. That is someone else's judgment. Your divine curriculum is unique for you, right? You can just as easily turn it around and say, well, if you leave when things are hard, you don't have the courage to stay. So stop being so hard on yourself and focus on your divine curriculum. What's there for you to learn, right? What's there for you to learn? Stop giving your power away. Stop putting the source of your power in other people. Your boundaries will be honored and respected when you inside honor and respect them. You will not be able to leave a relationship if you are supposed to, if that is your divine guidance, until you feel worthy of more, right? Because it's going to be you. You're the one that's going to have to pack your bags. You're the one that's going to have to get your finances in order. You're the one that's going to have to be able to stand up to that person in the post relationship abuse, if you're married or if you have children. So, this is a huge amount of strength required. And this is where God normally says it's about moving in silence, forgiving the people around you, but moving in silence to do your own healing, to get to a place of real strength instead of fake strength. Um, Strength based on courage instead of strength based on anger or judgment, so that then you can make a decision about what's best for you from a place of love instead of from a place of revenge. But you're very clearly, like, the passage here is literally saying forgive the people in your home because your house is divided and there's too much fear coming in there. So there needs to be energy of forgiving yourself so that you can forgive others. There we go. Solar plexus starting to open up a bit more now. And forgiveness is not about staying. So forgiveness is to release or to renew. And once you have worked through it, because forgiveness cannot be forced, right? Forgiveness has to be awakened. It has to be given. So if you are working towards forgiving yourself and forgiving others, right? Um, you move in silence. There we go. Ooh. Okay. Teresa, may I have a reading on my love life, please? You're the reason I have the angel romance card deck out, are you? Mitch, you are the reason for my Bible. So, see what the angels have to say for you, Teresa. Whoop! So, the card that jumped for you is worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Right? Divine timing is at work in your love life. I'm going to pull another one for you because I think that we're about to find out why. About to find out why. Why are they saying wait? Don't jump in yet. Wait. The cards have gone all funny. What they're doing, the energy thickens, so they're about to tell us something real. Okay, so worth waiting for and make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So there's inner work here. There's the creator and the angels are kind of going, are you playing it shallow or are you playing it deep? There's a real energy of you've done some work on understanding your feminine energy, but there's so much more to do here. There's like the mother archetype to heal. There is the shifting from slave girl energy into servant of God energy and service energy and sacred sexuality energy. There's like it's like there's 9 houses and you've dealt with one, and they're saying, hey, look deeper into this feminine stuff, make the effort. And you can see, like, this is a little girl being adored, like being cherished, being worshipped, and that's the energy that you didn't receive, that you're now removing all that encrusted old stuff that says you're not worthy. You're not worthy of being adored. You're not worthy of being financially provided for, emotionally provided for. And this is the root of the provider wound, right? And it's it's one of the wounds I've been working on this week while I've been on holiday, is that when we experience or have a negative trauma with the masculine, especially like our primary provider, whether that's a father, a stepfather, a big brother, um, an uncle, whatever. One of the biggest blocks to feminine abundance is us making that vow that we will never allow anyone to provide for us again. Right? I will never take anything from that person. I will never allow them to provide for me again. And then, of course, that blocks divine provision. That blocks you being able to provide for yourself, because it's a very big block on your power, right? Allowing the masculine to support you and take care of you is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself as a female, both as a child and as an adult. And that trauma isn't yours, right? That trauma was transferred onto you during those negative experiences. You as a little child know that you're unconditionally worthy of love. You just know it. No one has to tell you. It's just there. So it's interesting, right? Because we've got make the effort and we've got worth waiting for. So your worth is worth waiting for. Your worth is worth fighting for, so that you can truly embody somebody who's also in their own worth, somebody who is not just like providing from a place of resentment, somebody who is providing from a place of spiritual and emotional maturity and honor, right? And that does exist. It's for real, but it won't reveal itself to you until you believe it's for real or that you deserve it. So it's letting all those beliefs fall away, that you don't deserve it, that only weak women do that. I was doing a podcast with an incredible woman this morning who teaches about masculine and feminine. We're going to release that soon, and you guys can have a watch. But one of the topics that came up around this divine masculine and feminine is exactly how much, when we say we want, like when we think about being provided for by a man as a woman, we go into servant energy and slave girl energy. We go into, well, then I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to take care of everything. If I am provided for, then I am a man's servant. And that is ancestral trauma. That is not the truth. You can shift into being worthy of being provided for in every way, shape, or form. What you contribute in a divine relationship is creating life and multiplying energy. So creating life can be in the form of giving, life to a child, or it can be in the form of giving life to projects, or it can be in the form of multiplying and increasing energy. So women are generators, and what is in our presence multiplies. Right? That's why men get so much status and position prestige from having a powerful woman in their presence and in their energy and in their life, because we multiply things, right? You give us a sperm and we make a baby. You give us a house and we make a home. You give us a business and we make an empire. This is what the women energy generates when we are completely provided for and safe. So your contribution is not as a servant to a man, right, or to anybody else. Your contribution is that energy of increase, and that's the power of feminine energy. And we don't have to do anything, right? That's the incredible thing. It is the beauty and the grace and the presence and the nurturing and the love, right? And most of us have been raised that an independent woman is somebody who does everything herself. A really independent, the truth of independent woman is, I am in my full power and I am fully supported by my masculine, by my feminine, and I am nurturing, and I think it's almost like an overflowing, you know. And there's an old poem by Keats where he says, the word is fecund in English. It's like so ripe and so fertile on every level that everything around me grows. It's like you are the earth in which things grow. That is like the ultimate feminine energy. You are the earth, right? And everything grows from the nutrition within that. So the earth needs to be nurtured. It needs to have nutrition put back into it. And you can't do that if you're running around in slave or servant girl energy. So there's some really, like, make the effort, go deeper with this. It's like it's not that you haven't done anything, but you're still playing it shallow. The work that you've done, you did properly, but there's more work to do. And it's time to take it seriously so that you can fully show up deeper in your romantic relationships. Hi, Sky. I hope you're well. Never be sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling much better. I definitely needed some time and some space, but I'm feeling much better. Thank you very much. Okay, Arvelina is saying, "Hi Sky, can I have a card advice from my guardian angel for this month?" Yes, you can. Angels, what do you want to talk to her through? Okay, I'm getting back to the original oracle card deck, so let's use that. Got some of the indigo cards mixed in here as well, which is an interesting development. Okay. Okay, so the card that I got for you is Breathe. Archangel Raphael, take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken the energy and to release old patterns. And then sensitivity. You're extra sensitive to energies right now and emotions. Honor yourself and your feelings. Ooh, so this is about integrity. It's really about you finding the courage to be honest with yourself about what you need and how you feel. The angels are showing me that you, even though you know what you feel and what you need, you're ignoring your feelings, and you're also you don't feel worthy of having your needs met. Nobody ever gave you space or cared about how you felt, so now you don't know how to care about how you feel, and you don't expect the people around you to care about how you feel. So it's an inner child healing, in the sense that you have to go inside and really talk to that little girl and let her know that it's important to feel and regulate feelings, and that she does deserve to have her needs met. She is worthy of being around people who will meet her needs, because she is a person who meets other people's needs. And that's what balance is. It's reciprocity, right? But that might mean letting people go. And that's where the breath is coming in. It's like, this is really about, the breath is going to release the trauma. The breath is going to regulate the nervous system. The breath is going to give you back the courage. And you can see there's an opening of the third eye happening here. So it's going to change how you see the situation. Right now they're showing me that you're seeing it from a victim consciousness. It's an energy of, why can't I get them to love me? Listen to the language. Why can't I get them to love me? So whenever you come into a relationship trying to get love, right, even if it's with the most innocent of intentions, whenever you're coming into a relationship to take instead of give, and that's what getting love is, that's when the relationship is always a disaster. When you're both coming to the relationship to give love, that's when um that's when the relationship flourishes and you both blossom, and it's when there's love to take, right? Because if you're both filling up a cup, it overflows. But if only one of you is filling it up, or if neither of you is filling it up, which is what happens often in long-term relationships, then there's nothing there, right? So they're really showing me really reconnecting to your breath, and it's going to change the way that you see yourself, um, and to really work through feeling your feelings. Stop bypassing your feelings, feel your feelings. Um, Feeling your feelings expands you out. It expands you out because you found the courage to be yourself. And it also teaches you how to hold more, both more joy and more pain if it comes without contracting, right? Things that would have brought me to my knees when I was a teenager or a younger woman, like in my early 20s and late 20s, just don't have the power to break me anymore, because I felt the feelings and I opened to them. If I just shut down and I'd ignored them, or I'd bypassed them, or then I wouldn't have the capacity to hold space at the level that I do. I wouldn't have the capacity to give grace at the level that I do. Um, there's huge power in feeling feelings. And there's a big difference between feeling feelings and indulging feelings, right? Feeling feelings means you bring your complete presence to your feeling and you feel the feeling. And once you've processed, transmuted, and alkalized that feeling, you look at your values and your virtues and you decide how to act based on those, right? Um, letting your like dwelling on your feelings, or letting your feelings control you, where the abusive dynamic comes from, is when you don't properly feel your feelings, or you kind of vomit them on somebody else, and that's what it is in an argument. You're just like bleh, right? So you don't properly feel them, you try and project them onto somebody else. You're like, it's your fault that I have these feelings, and they're so uncomfortable that I'm not going to feel them. And then you're communicating your trauma and your pain instead of, and you're not even aware of what it is that you truly desire and what the actual divine wisdom is coming from that situation. And that's often what's perceived as being in your power, speaking your truth. And it's neither. You're not in your power and you're not speaking your truth. You are, afraid of your truth and you're afraid of your power. When you are in your power and when you're in your truth, you know what you want. So, for example, let's say my partner is saying, well, I want to do this and I want to do this, and it's just not something I want to do or not something that's in alignment with my values. I will listen and I will say, that sounds really good. It sounds like the right thing for you to do. It's not what I desire. I desire this, right? But it doesn't come from a place of contempt or anger or revenge, or it doesn't come from fear. It just comes from, this is my desire. And that clarity of, this is my desire and I'm unconditionally worthy of it, and that joy of it doesn't take away from somebody else's desires being different from yours. And that is what being fully in your power feels good. And it is a journey. You're going to go through some weird process of where you're just having to do it imperfectly. And that's where the blurting comes out. And that's where some of the crying conversations and the arguments come out, because doing it imperfectly is better than keeping silencing. But when you're really in your power, you don't get into a place of emotional um like emotional pain when you're sharing your power, because you're not ashamed of it, you're not scared of it, you don't need somebody else to validate it. You get it, you really get it at your core, that you desire this. Right? Whether they do or whether they don't is irrelevant. This is your desire. And there's a joy in that, right? It's because it's not about anyone, it's about truth, it's about your connection to yourself. So that's what I'm getting, is really start being much more present with your feelings. This is where like a journaling practice or um, a video diary practice or something where you are learning to be emotionally present with yourself is such a sacred container for shifting from my feelings don't matter to my feelings are important and I give them attention daily. And that's when you'll attract people in who are like, how are you? Are you okay? When is a good time to call? Like my best friend for almost 5 years, every day in the morning, I get a message going, checking in, right? No matter how busy she is. And she's a CEO of a big company, and I'm ridiculously proud of how incredible she is. She still makes time to check in on my feelings, right? And my partner, who in the beginning really didn't check in on my feelings, the more that I worked on worthiness, checks in every day. How are you feeling? And especially the more shut down to my masculine I become, the more he comes and goes, how are you feeling? And if I go, I'm fine, he's like, yeah, you're not fine. How are you feeling? Because I had years of that practice of journaling and meditating and writing. And that's part of what I had to come back to during the holiday, or back to your values, back to practicing instead of knowledge. It's very grounding, that practice. Okay. Nutu is saying, can you please tell me what kind of spiritual journey I am in and how much power do I have to achieve my goals, Isha? Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for you. But as for divine power, you have all the power, which is what scares most people. We are afraid of our power. That you have all the power. You really, really do. Everything you need is already within. Just see what the angels are saying for you. Okay, here we go. Gentleness. So Archangel Sandalphon, this is the angel that carries our prayers up to God. And it's also the angel of music, right? So you can see he's playing guitar here, and they're encouraging you to get in touch with your creativity, to listen to music that makes you feel good, to allow, like, ultimate power is not what we think. Ultimate power is not about fame. It's not about wealth. It's not about miracles and instant manifestations. It is a byproduct of being in deep connection with ourselves and therefore a deep connection with our own divinity, right? And we try to do it in reverse. We're like, I'm going to get the success, I'm going to get the power, I'm going to get the, and it's the reverse. When you focus, it's what Course in Miracles says, you think you have many problems, but really you only have one disconnection from God. If you want to tap into freedom, right, from pain, from suffering, and if you want ultimate success, you need to tap into your connection with God. And that's what you're being called back to. You're really being called back to. It's kind of like God is asking you for an audience, and there's an energy of like quiet time in here, and really getting curious and courageous about what is divine power, and how do I release the guilt and the shame and the toxic power dynamic so that I can fully be present with the full potential of my divine gifts, and then I can be in practice of them so that I can really master them. What kind of spiritual journey you're on? The fact that Archangel Sandalphon is here means that you're a messenger, right? And you're probably a very strong channel, and that can come out through music, through singing, through your art, and it can also come out through teaching and books and dance. But there's a real energy of you're a channel, you're a messenger, you are a person that answers people's prayers, because that's what Archangel Sandalphon does. And your question was specifically about power and purpose, so that's the power that he embodies. To achieve your goals, you need clarity, right? Often when people pray to God, it's, I have this problem, right? I have a hurt knee, I have a hurt heart, as opposed to, God, give me clarity, show me your vision for my life, show me your plan. That's where I'd say 99% of my power has come from asking God honestly, what is your plan for me? If you look at my plan for my life, I would have been a lawyer. I'd probably be, um, I'd probably be working in human rights. I didn't plan on having any children. So my plan for my own life was definitely not to be a master medical intuitive who was a CEO for 4 different companies, who was teaching other people to be sovereign over their health. That was God's plan for my life, right? My plan was to go off and be a lawyer. But that one question, God, what is your plan? Right? God, how can I live your path? That is what really went ba-chunk, right? And I made that inquiry. We're talking about like self-inquiry here as a teenager, because I saw how much suffering my parents were living through. And I could see that it was so much bigger than anything that I could heal. And I had been taught at that stage not to believe in a higher power. But seeing them suffering was enough to make me go, okay, I don't know if there is a God. I don't know if there is a higher power. But if there is, I need you. My family needs you. Show me, because this isn't right. The people I love should not be suffering this much. I want to be able to help, and I do not have the power, right? This is so much bigger than what I can heal, than what I can make better. And that is where the power comes from, going, okay, God, what is your plan? And what God has planned for you, the greatness that God sees, is insane. It is incredible. It is far beyond your wildest dreams. And to keep saying yes to God's greatest plan for you it requires a lot of emotional and spiritual discipline. It requires a lot of patience and virtues and flexibility. But it is the like the it is the path. It is the way home. It is why we're here, right? To discover not just what we're truly capable of, but who we really are, is our journey back to the divine and the divine plan. Okay. Janice is saying, hi, may I have a health reading, please? Okay, let me just scan Janice. Okay, my love. So obviously it's not a medical advice, but what I'm seeing when I'm scanning you through Archangel Raphael is estrogen is a big issue. So please, I almost see like a diagnosis that's around thyroid, but they're showing me that it's the estrogen that's causing it's causing the problems with the thyroid because it's overloading your liver, and your liver is what turns T3 into T4. So they're basically saying, please get your estrogen checked. Please get checked for estrogen dominance. Estrogen, from a metaphysical perspective, is the mother wound. Okay, is the mother wound. So you're looking at going deeply into the mother archetype, both the shadow aspects and the illuminated aspects, to put your estrogen levels back into balance. So the illuminated aspect of the mother archetype is the divine mother, and the shadow aspect of the mother archetype is the devouring mother and the narcissistic mother. Kind of like, and you see those aspects in fairy tales with the witch queens and um the and the evil stepmoms and things like that. Like that's the shadow of the mother archetype. So you're looking at shifting from the shadow of the archetype into the illuminated version of the archetype. That's what they call it in shamanic circles, the illumination. Every archetype has both, but that's what I'm just going to bring in Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, because I'm getting those very strongly for you. I'm just going to pull a card. Remember who you are. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. So I can feel Archangel Michael coming in so strong, and that's the angel that's in this card. I was just checking because it's a different shade of blue than I'm used to with Michael. But there's a real fierceness here. There's a real gentleness here that says, like, it's really like you are worth protecting. You are worth protecting. And so much of the attack on both genders is this, like, we're not worth protecting, and we are. We are worth protecting. The masculine is worth protecting, the feminine is worth protecting, and where they need protecting the most is in childhood or inside our inner child, right? In childhood or inside our inner child. Our deepest wounds come from our relationships with our caregivers, often as children or in other lifetimes. So if you are on a healing journey and you haven't looked deeply into mother and father energy, especially if you felt unprotected by your mother, unprotected by your father. This is like one of the places where, since I had my son, me and my husband, like, he is the thunder and I am the lightning. And there is just no way around it. Like, if anything, if anything, so tries to, like, tell off the child or mistreat in any way, shape, or form, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, because that mother archetype in me is healed, there's a very strong no. And not just towards him, but towards me, towards my work sometimes. Like, there's a very strong protect the children energy, protect the inner child energy. The Archangel Michael's like coming through is like, you are worth divine protection, and you have to figure out what that is. So you might want to muscle test. I know the difference between protection and aggression. I know the difference between protection and abuse. I know that I'm unconditionally worthy of divine protection. I know that it's safe for me to be divinely protected, because Archangel Michael is all about that energy of protection. And that's what you really want to be tapping into. Okay, PB saying, hi, lovely. Don't be sorry. We love all of them. We have all of it now. We have the Bible, we have the Oracle card decks, we have the romance angels, we have our angels, we have all of it. Okay, PB is saying, we love all of it. Can I get advice from angels on my health, please? Yes, you can. Angels what? Okay, I'm getting back to my nice pink Bible. So I'm going over here. So when I'm doing a divination from a book, I just literally put God's energy into the pages, right? And then I ask. Okay. And my eyes will fall to a place, and it's quite funny when this is like third eye chakra, whenever they like keep getting, it's almost like it gets pulled to a place. It's a very strange feeling. Okay, so this is quite interesting, right? So I landed in Leviticus 13:27, and it's like the little numbers like 31, and it says, if the priest looks on the plague, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and there is no there is no dark in it, then the priest shall shut him up that hath the plague for 7 days. So you can see how they're literally saying that if we as priestesses or priests are not well, and we take complete rest and we fast, right, for 7 days, a day for each chakra, right, a day for each energy center, that we will find a much deeper connection with Creator. And there's so much research coming out now on the power of rest and fasting. And it's one of the, it was the ultimate prescription, right? The ultimate prescription was rest, bed rest, and fasting for thousands and thousands of years. And it's still nature's prescription to most of the animal kingdom. You're not well, fast and bed rest, right? And there's profound healing that takes place on a genetic level, on the level of like deep toxic proteins that get attached and block our DNA or our cell pathways, that take place just after 3 days. But there's always something sacred in sacred numerology. So the guidance that you're getting is to rest, like deep rest, 7 days, and to get in touch with a doctor or naturopathic practitioner that specializes in fasting, and they will connect you with the right kind of fasting for you, which might be intermittent fasting, it might be water fasting, it might be juice fasting, it might be dry fasting. Typically with the Bible, it's water fasting, right? But the energies, like when the priest sees the disease, and if it's not gone any deeper than the skin, so from a if we break it down from a dream perspective, right, it's still at the surface of your consciousness, it's not become a part of your identity, it's still on your skin, it's not gone into the energy, because that's when you look at any kind of parable, you interpret it in a dreamlike way. Then you need to fast for those 7 days. And you need to rest, like take deep rest, pull away from the world and take deep rest. So you're being guided to book that Airbnb, book that hotel room, book that retreat center, but not where you're going to be in constant interaction with other people. You need to be with yourself. God is calling you to be with Him. Your body has something important to tell you. There's a pattern here that you have been avoiding and bypassing and running away from. Your angels are actually saying for lifetimes. I was going to say your whole life, and I heard Archangel Raziel go for lifetimes. That they are asking you to give to God. They're asking you to trust that it can be healed. They're asking you to make some space and time for yourself and for your own rest. And that ties us back in a neat loop back to the beginning, right? Because in the first few readings, there was a strong pattern of not being afraid of resting, not being afraid of living the values instead of just professing those values. It's an important thing. Okay, Balby says, can you see our business? Will it improve? Okay, so the honest answer that I'm getting when I'm tuning into your business is that we need to pull all the fear out of it. And we need to also take all the responsibility and power that you've projected onto your business back to you. Your business is an empty vessel, okay? It's no different than a child. If a parent comes to me and goes, my child is misbehaving, I need to work with the parent. If the parent has no boundaries, if the parent doesn't feel worthy of parenting, if they have giant mother-father wounds, it affects how they show up for the child. And then the child is showing up in ways the parent doesn't like, right? So you have to look at the source. If the business isn't working, you have to take 100% responsibility. The business is not a living organism. If it's not working, it's because something about the way it's being marketed, the way that it's being the skills that you need, like systems, administration, and the way that you're communicating isn't working, right? So those are genuine skills. Those are genuine skills. Responsibility is a skill. Financial skills is a skill. Marketing is a skill. Communication is a skill. So you want to look at, if the business isn't working, am I showing up and marketing on a daily basis, right? What is it that the business is supposed to sell? How is it, what is it, who is it that the business is supposed to serve? One of the biggest ways that I see very gifted healers and business people getting stuck is that they are they're in love with the business person that they think that they should be, as opposed to being present with the audience that they have, right? They're talking to themselves in the language that they want to hear. They're not talking to their audience in a language that the audience needs to be able to connect with them and connect to their service. Um, and that's very normal, whether you're parenting, whether you're marketing, whether you're in business. So it's getting really present with what is your audience need, right? How can you be in service to humanity? So are you showing up and doing your marketing every day? Do you know who you are serving, and do you know what you are selling, right? If those three things, showing up and doing them every day, is normally will take you from 0 to at least 2,000, 3,000 a month easy if you're doing it with integrity or consistently. The other thing to look at when it comes to like business is the energy of it. So if you're pouring all of this tension and anxiety into your business and it's not fun for you and there's no pleasure in it, then people can feel that, right? And they don't trust that energy. Anxiety is a very fearful energy, and money requires certainty. People don't invest in businesses when they feel uncertain. So we need to energetically pull out all that anxiety, pull it, and just say yes if you want this. But pull out all that anxiety from your social business pages, from your email address, from your business, from your business bank account. We need to remove all that negative energy. There we go. Okay, there we go. Matt is saying, I hope you had a great holiday. Thank you, Mattis. It's nice to see you too. Nice to see you too, Sky. Much love. Yep, okay. Let's, angels, what do you want me to look at? Which medium? Okay, angel cards. So we're going with the angel cards. I think our Bible is going quite well. I think we got some pretty incredible messages today. Okay. Oh, beloved one. So this Archangel Shamuel, one of my favorite angels, I think single-handedly responsible for healing most of my romance trauma and getting me married with my Bubba. Archangel Shamuel, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. So there's Archangel Shamuel is coming in here, and I can see all the cherubim and the romance angels around him. I'm going to pull one from the romance deck as well. Oh, new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So they're showing, like he's really showing me that it's you're really gone into a place of doubt, doubting whether you can provide, doubting whether you can take care, doubting whether you're ready, doubting whether this person's going to hurt you. This is not safety and it won't protect you. Okay. You need to go into a place of confidence. Yes, I'm an incredible person. Yes, I can provide. Yes, I have everything this person needs. I will work it out. Right. I have a strong connection with God. I will work it out. I will become the person that I'm supposed to become. If you look at my relationship with my partner, for example, and that's what we talk about, like energy being multiplied. I met him when I was 22 and he was 38, I think, 38. And he was already an established spiritual teacher. He was, teaching astral projection. He was doing his own thing. I was at the very beginning of figuring out who I was. And I wasn't expecting him. I was pretty blindsided. I thought I had a few more years before I met my soulmate, and so did he. Right? I think he definitely thought he had at least another 3 or 4 years. He did tell me that when we met. And one of the things about being in that relationship was that I genuinely didn't feel worthy. I thought he was this God, and that I was like, you know, lucky to be in his presence. And it's true, right? He is God, and I am lucky to be in his presence, but not because I'm not worthy, because that is the truth of all living things. We are all divine and we are all blessed to be in each other's presence. But I was coming at it from this lens of inferiority. How am I going to be a good enough partner? How am I going to be a good enough wife? I had such deep unworthiness issues to resolve that I didn't even understand the depth of. On an angel reading, so that's husband right now, in the middle of an angel reading. His ears must be ringing, right? So when we're in that energy, we block becoming who we were, and we slow down our manifestation. So because I said yes anyway, I was like, okay, God, I don't know why, I don't feel ready, but I was constantly, I still had my Course in Miracles, and I was leaning very heavily into that. At that time, I was leaning very heavily into Marianne Williamson as well, and into Anthony Robbins and his relationship program too. But if you look at the full manifestation of who I'm becoming, which is not even finished yet, right? I'm a completely different person because I kept saying yes to the real life experience of being with a spiritual partner instead of with the superficial experience. The idea of it. Yes to doing it messily instead of not doing it at all. Yes to being with the failure and knowing when I was failing in my relationship instead of pretending everything was okay and I didn't have any work to do. So it's this, you're being called to that energy of yes and to the energy of vulnerability, because you don't just get into a relationship when you're ready for one. You get into the relationship when it's your divine timing. And then what is required of you is for you to keep saying yes to God about the person that God is transforming you into through that relationship. Right? Are you going to take that covenant seriously? That person is not just with you to give you love. They're with you so they can become the light they're capable of being in the world. Are you really going to commit to choosing them, to loving them, to honoring them, to going through life's brightest days and going through life's darkest days with them? And these are not about the other person. This is about who you are. And when you show up in this way, things transform. Showing up in this way took me from my relationship with my partner when we first started. Because of the age gap, we were like, we're not going to be serious, we're just going to date. And 3 months into that relationship, we were engaged and moving in together, because that energy of me deciding that this is who I am shifted everything. You need to let God shift you. You need to let God move you. You need to let go of this doubt, and this power exchange where it's about the other person. Your divine curriculum is perfect. Your relationship with them is about your relationship with God. So wherever it's blocked, wherever something isn't showing up, wherever it's not flowing, it's because you are not allowing your own stuff to flow. If you're afraid of providing, it's because you don't allow yourself to be provided for. If you're afraid of oh, if you're afraid of like providing is many things. So providing spiritually, providing emotionally, providing financially. It's those three things. So those are the areas you want to be looked at. So if you're afraid of providing, where were you not provided for? Where were you not protected? Where was the masculine in your life absent? Right? Where was the feminine in your life absent? And that's about really working, not the mother-father wound, working the archetype wound, shifting from the shadow aspect of the mother-father archetype into the illuminated aspect of the mother-father archetype, which goes far beyond this lifetime, right? It's important to look at what happened in this lifetime, but it's not even tip of the iceberg based on what you energetically carry. Okay, I'm going to do our closing prayer. I'm going to finish out on that note. Got one more to do actually, because I said I'd finish and then it got sucked in. It says, Jin Tara saying, "Hi Sky, I want to share my tantric healing with people. What is stopping me that it's not happening?" So this is about embodiment. they're really showing me that, like, they took me straight down to your womb, and they actually showed me parts of your yoni that are still completely locked in shame. And they're showing me that this is like, you know how when you're doing social media and they say that if you're not sharing any part of your story, then you're blocking a whole area of your audience and you're blocking a huge part of your own healing. Like, if you stand outside of your story, that's what Brené Brown says. If you stand outside of your story, then you have to hustle for worthiness. It's only when you own your whole story that you can feel worthy. It's the same thing with sexuality. When you don't own your worthiness of unconditional pleasure, right, and ecstasy and your whole sexual story, then you're standing outside of this Shakti hustling for worthiness, right? It's kind of like when you're doing all the right things and you're in spiritual practice, but you're it's because of perfectionism and shame and still not feeling like you're enough, versus because you're actually allowing yourself to feel joy and pleasure and provision. So like the energy is like, focus like a laser fucking beam on healing your divine feminine. Get so curious and so deeply driven on what is the divine feminine, and what is the power to create life, and what is the power to multiply, and what is the power of pleasure and beauty, and what is the divine power in this, not on an intellectual level, on an embodiment level. And that might require de-armoring work, that might require plant medicine work. They're really showing me plant medicine work, because some parts of your pleasure centers are so locked down, and they're showing me ancestral locks. Like I can see granthis. Granthis are the yoga, or the lock, or the word for like energetic karmic meson locks going down your ancestral line, right? So just shifting from this sexual slave archetype energy really deeply into the sacred sexual service energy, and this unlimited power and creativity that comes from pleasure, that comes from bliss, that comes from ecstasy, because that is life expressing itself, right? This is where we come from. Sex is where we get created. So this ecstasy is where we come into being. And there's a lot of layers of just shame. And then we're back, like, whilst you're doing this, for your own self, there's that practical side of, are you showing up every day and talking about tantra? Are you showing up every day and sharing what you teach and how amazing it is, and the work that you're doing with your clients? Are you communicating with your audience on your own journey? Are you including them in your healing process in an authentic way, right? Because then they not only do they get that you're human, and that you're a real person, right, but that they don't feel alone. They don't feel like you wake up one day and the enlightenment is a process where you are on this pedestal and they're down here. You get the enlightenment is you all carrying water together. It's not one day you wake up and you don't have to carry water anymore. Enlightenment is a part of life. It's a part of embodiment. So it's that energy of taking them on the journey with you, instead of hiding the hard parts of the journey, or the fullness of your story, and the fullness of your sexuality as well, and like communicating about it every single day. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. O great spirit, Father, sky, mother, earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, amen, namaste.